Alright, so as far as tracking out a song, you see I have all my tracks right there. I have all my tracks right there. I'm going to take the mouse. I'm going to drag over all of them, just like that, to the box. Highlight them. Now on my computer is Command C and Command V. On yours is going to be the control button. But you're going to Control C. Well, let me do that again. You see there, when I hit Control C, see how it jumps to the 9? That's what it's supposed to look like. If it goes anywhere past the 9, then one of your tracks has something going past the 9. So in order to check it, you just click over here. Let me put that there. You just click over here one time in an empty spot, and then you would, let's check this one. You'll do it like that, and you'll make sure that no notes go past the 9. And you'll do the same for each track. Just scroll up and down, make sure that no notes going past the 9. But that's only if when you do this, when you highlight them all, and you hit Control C, if that little thing right there goes past the 9. If it stops at the 9, then you're good. Then after you Control C, which is Control C, you're going to Control V. Again, mine says Command, but yours is going to say Control, CTRL. Control V, and just keep controlling V like that, or you can hold it until you get to, I always go to 6 minutes. See, I always go to 6 minutes. Then I track it out the way I want it, and then I can just delete the rest. So let's say like from here down, I don't want, then I would do the same thing, highlight them all like that, and then just hit backspace or delete, and it'll take them off. That's how you get the tracks to, whatever. Track out. That's what I was showing you. Once you tracked it out and everything, let me show you something real quick. Go to your rack. Scroll all the way to the top. And it's better to do this before you track it out because it's going to be a lot easier. And then you're going to go to your master section. Go to Show Programmer. Click here. And go to Default Mastering Suite. Now, if what I just did didn't show up, then you'll have to click here in the little folder. And then you're going to go over here to Factory Sounds. And then you're going to go to the M-Class Mastering Patches. And as you see, they're over here too. But you want it on default. Then you're going to go up to your mixer. Oops, sorry. You're going to go up here to your mixer. You can click this button too. You're going to go up here to your mixer, and you're going to go over here on the right, and you're going to find DYN. Click it. This pops up. And then turn it on. After you do that, then you scroll back down to the fader. Right here. And this is how you adjust each volume. This is where you would do your mixing. You're leveling, so something isn't louder than the other. If you hit this button, SEQ, stands for sequence. When you hit that, you notice this pops back up. Let's say this is the end of your song, and you want it faded on the last brick, right? You want it faded on the last brick. Put your cursor here, hit record. And then once it gets to that line, you just start bringing it down, right? You ain't gotta be like smooth with it or nothing like that. You just want it to be at the 0 before it gets to the end. Then when you hit stop, you're gonna click this box. You see all these little dots? You're gonna get rid of everything but the first and the last one. See, I didn't touch that one. You see, I didn't touch this one. Hit backspace to get rid of them, and it gives you a perfect fade. Know what I was telling you about that E? This is what I was telling you about. Look for this E. You have to move this E. Now, if you do a fade, and you stop it before the end, like this one isn't perfect, so I can just tap it. I can come over here to where it says snap and click that. Come back and move this back a little bit. About right there. Come back, turn your snap back on, and then you can put the E right there. But let's say you don't put a fade out on your song, you let it, let's see. Okay. Let me pull this up. Okay. You don't want the fade in your song, you just click it, delete. And if you do that, you come down here to the E, you want that E to be on about the next line or two. No further than this unless you have a sound that plays further than this. And the easiest way to check that is to do like that. Play it. You see how that, I don't know if you can hear it, but the bell is still going. But it stops right about there. So on this track, I had it at 2. That's going to mark the end of your song. That's when everything is going to stop playing. So if this E is way over here, and you still got track outs over here, it's going to stop when you export it at this point. So always make sure that you check for that E, and make sure that it's at least 1 to 2 lines from the end of the track. That's what I do. Once you got it leveled up here, you got it tracked out down here. Like I said, you'll want to, before you do, this part, the tracking out part, you're going to want to do that master section, default, and you're going to want to go to dynamic up here, turn that on, and then what you do is when you come down here, you solo this track. So when you play it, now here's what I do. I try to make sure that nothing goes over 10. Okay? So you see that? Then I'm gonna bring this one in. Now, my drums, I will let go a little over 10. Sometimes, depending on the level. I haven't mixed this, well, did I? No, I haven't mixed this yet. So, that's why everything's about the same. Then once you do that, you bring in the next one. You can't hear it because it's bass. But my bass, I usually let ride to 0 because I want the bass. Well, in certain songs, like a rap, I want the bass to be kind of loud. In an R&B, I'll try to match it, but just play with the levels until it gets right. And you do the same thing for each track. You just solo, and then you'll adjust the volume. Certain background stuff, like these strings, I put it at like 20. Main sound goes to 10. Other stuff, I just level it, but I usually don't go past 20. So like this one, the sound is. So that one, I'll probably put that at like 10. But It all depends on the track. You know, you play around with it and get it to sound the way that you want, but you don't want nothing overpowering something else. You don't want nothing overpowering. Okay, so I showed you how to do the fade, the mixing, the tracking out. There's another key thing that you can do for mixing. You come back to your rack and you're gonna hit show insert FX in your master section. And that will bring up all these little boxes. You're gonna scroll down just a little bit till you see this little blank spot right here, right? And you're gonna come over here and you're gonna go to factory sounds, all effect patches, double click. You're gonna go down to utility. You're gonna get this stereo, flip, and mono. This will be your best friend in mixing. You're gonna drag it right there. Now, if you notice when I play the song, it moves. Okay. Now, what this does, your next step is you're gonna come up here to options. You're gonna keyboard control edit mode. Then you're gonna come back down here to where the word mono is. You're gonna click it, double click it, and then you can select any key on the keyboard. I always just do N because that's what the tutorial video that I learned this from did, so I just stuck with N. So you hit N. Now you see there's an N in there, and then you click it to turn it orange. Then you come back up to options, and then you turn that off. Keyboard control edit mode. Check it again, turn it off. Now, if you watch this, whenever I hit the N key, that button lights up. See that? Okay, now, what you do with that function is, you kind of like bring this down, and then kind of like bring this up, so you can see both. And then when you're doing the solos, when you do that, you hit the N key, and you put it on mono, right? And then you level it, the first one. Then you turn this one on, and you level it. And what you want is all the levels to be leveled right. And how you'll know that it's right is when you hit this N and turn it back on. It should sound exactly the same, but just wider. Okay? This will help to ensure that every level is right, that nothing is louder than something else. And you know, once you do the first one and you do this one, then you turn the mono off and you listen to it. And then you turn it back on and do the next one. Level it, turn it off. It should all sound equal. These three should now sound equal. Okay? But everything has its own level. None of these levers should ever be on the same number. See how like this, if I just put it over, if I just hover over it, see how it says 0 decibels, 0 decibels? None of these should be on the same level at all. They should not be on the same level. Then once you're done going through all of them, you're going to turn all the solos off. Or you don't have to. You can leave them on. But it just helps in case you add something else. Because if you got the solos on and then you add another instrument down here, it's not going to play. It'll show you that it's playing. It'll show you that it recorded something. While you're recording it, you'll hear it. But when you go to play it back, you won't. That's because that channel is soloed. So I always just make sure that I turn them all off. And then that's when I'll go tracking out, you know, the song, which is simple. You just click on what you don't want. You can get closer. You click on like let's say I didn't want this to play at this point. I can either delete it, or let's say I don't want it to come in until right there. I can just do like that. Or let's say I want it to play for the first couple bars and then stop. I can do it like that. I can make it small as I want to, as big as I want to. That's how you edit this. And then what I was telling you about too, something you can't do in FL Studio is like, let's say, let's pick this one, right? In that particular track, let's say I don't want this note to play. This is your edit mode. I just highlight it, delete it, right? So you see it's not there in that first one. But if I come over here to the next one, it's there. So it allows you to edit it by, each one of these little bricks. I guess is what you want to say. You can also double click there and rename each track. Unfortunately, when you do the Kong, and I'll do another video on the Kong again, but unfortunately when you do the Kong and use the dub feature, you can only name this. You can't name these. You can't name each individual. So you can't say like kick, snare, hi-hat, crash, whatever. You can put it all in here in the order, or you can write it down, or just try to remember. But you can always hit solo, the S here, and then mute each track till you have just one left, right? And then when you play it, it'll only play this track. So then you'll know what this is, and then you can just mute that one, and then so forth and so forth. You'll know what it is. But if you do it and you write it down as you're doing it, if you're the kind of person that's going to forget, that, that'll be helpful too. Alright, so got you all that. Your tools up here. Let me scroll to the end so I have some room just to show you. But your tools up here, this is your pointer. This is this. You have a pencil tool where you can draw in, and I'll teach you about that later. But you have an eraser right there. That will also erase what you don't want. And then you have a razor. Your razor is like, let's say these are my drums, and let's say I don't want no drums for the last half. You got two options. You can just put a straight line, or you can come out like that. If you come out like that, it'll highlight all those, and then all you gotta do is delete. Simple. If you, I'm glad I did that. If you have something that looks like this, because you see how all these don't have a line through it? This is my crash, and I always hold my crash throughout the whole 8 bars. If this is like a note or something, and you want it to stop right there, you're going to have to click in that box. Find the note. It'll be red. All these are other notes for sus, so don't worry about the black ones. Only look for the red ones. And then you'll come down, and you see how it looks. It's going past there. You can grab your razor, come back over here, and cut it. And that's how, when I come out, you notice that now all of them are blank. Trying to think, is there anything else? Okay, so that's about it. So now to export, you come up here to File, and you make sure you save your song. I'm not going to save it because, this is just practice, but you're going to save it, and then you're going to come back to File once you save it, and you're going to go to Export Song as Audio File. If you do Export Loop, it is only going to do what is between the L and the R. That's it. So you want to make sure that it's on Export Song as Audio File. When you do that, this box will come up. It'll already have whatever you saved it as named right there. And you want to save it to your desktop. And the file, you only have 2 formats, audio IFF or WAV. You can do either one. It doesn't really matter. I just leave it on the default, and then you'll save it. And when you hit save, it'll come up with this box. You don't have to do anything in this box except for hit export. Once you hit export, it's going to run. You're going to see it showing like all the bars that it's going through. It's going to run, and that's where I was telling you about that E. If that E is not placed in the right spot, you see how I got all this space? It's going to continue exporting all the way to this E. So always, always, always make sure that E is in the right spot. Otherwise, you'll have extra just silence, or you'll cut off part of your track. And that's how you export it. Now, once you export it, don't worry about this because that's not going to. Once you export it, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. Gotta pull it out. It should have, well, yours might not have this logo, but it'll be on your desktop. It'll say what it is, .aif. That's where you'll take it to your MP3 converter that I put on your laptop. If not, you have to find one. Mine's is this one, but I couldn't get this one for a PC. And then you'll just, open your converter, drag that file into it. It's pretty much the same basis. I just drag the file into it. It'll scan it, and then it'll let you save it to where you need to. See, I got iTunes, so it's going to send it to iTunes. But I'm not going to convert it. I don't want to convert it, so I'm not going to do it. But anyway, that's how you export. That's how you track out. And, yeah, get a little 21-minute video for you.